So today we're talking about creation of mankind and how important it is to us. Now, the development of man is very complex. I mean, you've got Darwin's theory saying that man was clearly some sort of ape before they grew up into man through development of time. But the Bible clearly says that someone named God handmade two people named Adam and Eve. God was created by some sort of celestial milk or celestial transformation, and he was able to create life, including trees and people. And these, according to the Bible, are regarded as the first human beings. So they weren't regarded as apes, but people handmade from God. Adam is often seen as a freckly person who was made with dirt. Eve is a more clean person who was made from a rib, apparently, and hence had very bad archy back posture. But are these the only two beings? Is this the only example of a live being which should be regarded as human? According to the Bible, these should be everyone's ancestors. As the people before, the beings before God created these Adam and Eve, they were regarded as sin. They weren't regarded as people or human beings, but beings who walked the earth and regarded by no religion, and who were probably malformed in some way and were not the embodiment of God who created Adam and Eve. No one really knows when the garden and Adam and Eve were created. Some people suggest around 400 to 600,000 BC would be a good time frame. So let us go on to sin. What sort of beings were alive? Well, apparently the devil was alive. A red beast who lived under the ground. Apparently, there were algae beings, the people who resembled malforms, but who were able to live and had conscious thoughts and were like people, but they were not quite people because they were malformed. Some people even say they were vines. And of course there are cults of people who were very old, around India or somewhere. There were people with large elongated skulls who resembled human beings but were not what God created. The Greeks were supposed to be ancient beings. They're strange bird-like people who create what is generally considered archangels. Also, knights try to claim that they're more ancient than the Bible, the side of the Bible. They claimed they were alive as knights before the Dark Ages in around 1500 BC. They dressed as knights. They made swords like knights. They traveled the world like knights. But they're not what was made by God. They were supposed to be an ancestor, greater, but who lived as intelligent knights. So the development of knights did not begin in 1500 like people assume. Their culture, their chainmail, their armor, their swords developed in a earlier culture, possibly around the Russia, possibly around up to 500,000 BC or more. Aliens who came by UFO were said to have landed around 3 to 1 BC and around 3 AD. Most consider the visiting aliens to be black, but some claim that the white aliens also landed at around 3 AD from outer space on planets which they inhabited, which were not ours, and this created alien revolutions and revolts that strange alien beings, who are also regarded as people, landed and began to fight in order to be able to rule. Aboriginals are said to be alien descendants. The white aliens that live in ice chambers in the North Pole or Russia are said to be the white aliens. But all those kooky Aboriginal drawings on rocks and things are said to be black aliens, and these are supposed to have been visitors. These who have descendants who rule the world now are supposed to have been visitors from outer space on a planet far away. They were not said to be what God created, but strange beings which came after God created Adam and Eve, and definitely after all those beings who are regarded as sin, so the malformed beings, the ancient Middle Eastern beings, and even the Knights and the Greeks. So with this complex of development, he was going to say that they just come from a monkey. And which one of them has the right to call themselves a human being? Often in the modern world, everyone looks like a human being. Everyone with eyes, fingers, hair. And those who can do magic or grow wings are considered heavenly. But should everyone be considered human? When you think of the fact that not everyone has come from God's creation. Should we even have Aboriginals or white alien peoples who came after the development of man? Should we only have Adam and Eve regarded as true humans? Should they be the only ones being allowed to live as humans? Or do a lot of people who exist today come from what is regarded as sin? The beings that were alive before humanity was made. Most people suggest that everyone is trying to become a descendant of an alien these days, because they're not only intelligent, they can do magic, give great insight to the world and the universe, and they're regarded as attractive. But some people do claim to have been from what is regarded as sin, people before Adam and Eve. They think they descend from these Middle Eastern people. Some think they are ancient knights who are able to build swords and armor way before the Middle Ages, in around 1500 AD, and who possibly lived around 500 BC as knights and thinking in modern ways, but in small groups. Or do they come from strange mouthworm algae people or vines who are considered sin because they are not quite as human, as fully developed human as other sinful or ancient beings, or even humans? Does anyone actually come from Adam and Eve anymore? And what should everyone be truly regarded as being? A real human, according to the Bible? An alien from outer space? And he took over when they crash landed on Earth? Or a being made of sin? Who is related to what, truly, and what is the difference?